There's an op-ed in the Des Moines Register that was recently published that caught our attention. It's written by a guy named Todd Blodgett, who has quite a backstory. He calls himself the Republican crackhead. Really, that's the name of a book he wrote. We'll have more on that in a second. But first, here's what he wrote in the Des Moines Register. Quote, headline, Biden paving the way for Trump to win again. 23,000 votes spread across Wisconsin, Arizona, and Georgia flipped the Electoral College. Would have been tied at 269 to 269, and with Republicans holding a majority of the state's congressional delegations, the U.S. House of Representatives would have chosen Donald Trump as president. Interesting to think about that and how close it actually was. Let's welcome in now the host of the Mark Halperin Focus Group here on Newsmax TV, Mark Halperin. And Mark, you know, it's headlines like that that make some people think that Donald Trump might actually be thinking about reinserting himself back in the White House. That's what Maggie Haberman's talking about. But she has nothing to back that up. So we'll leave that aside. But I want to focus on that number of votes. 23,000 votes spread across Wisconsin, Arizona, and Georgia. That's really all it was, right? And things are really close. And that same guy, our friend, the Republican crackhead, as he calls himself, he also points out that some of these issues that Biden is standing behind, cancellation of the Keystone XL pipeline, these are really kind of heartland America issues. Biden's spending spree, the tax hikes, the failure to prioritize Americans over illegal immigrants. These are the things that could flip those 23,000 votes the other way.
It's a pretty good list Todd Blodgett put together. And, you know, look, Donald Trump did not beat Hillary Clinton by very much. Joe Biden did not beat Donald Trump by very much. So I think the media likes to read into the results, often not in a case of bias, but just kind of sloppiness to say, well, the result of the election tells you everything you need to know about America. It tells you something you need to know. And then I think, again, because the press does not like the way Donald Trump's conducted himself after the election, claiming falsely that he won, he didn't lose by much. Right. And so I think Mr. Blodgett's point is, in a close election last time, if the voters take into account some of the things on that list, it looks like Donald Trump would be sorely tempted to go for a rematch.
And, you know, this Tulsa, Oklahoma story, a lot of people are learning about it now. It has been, you know, kind of back shelved in history here, Mark. But, you know, going to Tulsa, Oklahoma and talking about things that happened 100 years ago, that doesn't resonate the same way that someone who lost their job or someone who, you know, is filling up their gas tank right now and is spending, you know, $10 more than they were 6 months ago to do the same thing. You know, does this really help Joe Biden focusing on these, you know, kind of identity politics issues? Not, again, not to diminish what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but, you know, 2022 has started and they are fighting for every congressional district in America. Is this really going to help him?
Well, in a matter of substance, as you suggested, it's vitally important that history be appreciated. And this is an event that whose history has been, for most Americans, buried. And so I think it's great that the president's shining a light on it. From a political point of view, it certainly helps him with certain parts of the Democratic Party and maybe suburban voters. But I think overall, the point you're making is right, which is right now, if you look at energy, inflation, jobs, there are a lot of issues here where the Biden administration has plenty of Americans who aren't happy with the performance. And over the course of the next several months leading up to the midterms, I think you're going to see Joe Biden have to defend his record. The Democrats have to defend his record, particularly on issues like taxes and spending and inflation.
Yeah, he'll have to defend his record if any questions come up that don't involve his ice cream flavor of choice. So we'll see what comes of that. I also want to talk to, you know, you hear a lot, and we've heard a lot of kind of feverish reporting about grand juries being seated and possible extraditions from Florida to New York for Donald Trump. The media is just, you know, seems to be chomping at the bit, Mark, about possible prosecutions for Donald Trump. Do you think they might be jumping the gun a little bit if they haven't done it twice already on these two kinds of stories? Because it does seem like there are serious issues out there, legal issues facing the president, and it doesn't seem like the press has learned anything about kind of keeping their powder dry either.
Yeah, look, you think the people in the dominant media will be disappointed or neutral if Donald Trump's indicted? No, they'll be very happy. And the coverage reflects that. There's a breathlessness to it. We don't know exactly what they're looking at, but we do know that in the world of real estate, big time New York real estate, if a prosecutor spends enough time combing over stuff, chances are they can come up with something that a grand jury might be interested in. Donald Trump, by running for president, and serving as president, made himself a very big target. And I think that that I wouldn't be surprised if there were indictments, but certainly the breathless coverage is ahead of where the known facts are right now.
Yeah, it almost seems as if the reporting acts as if this is an actuality as opposed to still a theoretical thing at this standpoint, which it is. So we'll see what comes of it. Mark, great to see you as always. We'll see you on the focus group. What are you guys talking about this weekend? Do you know yet?
Try not to be so negative about ice cream, for one thing, Jeff. Nothing wrong with ice cream.
No.
We'll probably look again at this question of bipartisanship and who voters look at to blame for bipartisanship, which areas they think they can see some. And as always, we're going to look at the pandemic. But it's early yet. It's only Tuesday, and focus groups later in the week. So those are my current thoughts, but we'll see. Not impossible we'll talk about ice cream because, unlike you, most Americans do like ice cream.
I just for the record, I do like ice cream. I just think that chocolate chip is redundant, Mark, and that's my issue. That's my only issue. It's a very nuanced.
Have me back on to talk about mint chocolate chip and my thoughts on that.
Okay, that sounds fascinating.
I don't get it. It's a flavor of toothpaste, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Although sometimes it's just like refreshing to have a little extra mint, and you want, it's different. Peppermint is more like toothpaste. Spearmint is more like the ice cream flavor. So we will do that though, some other time when we have more time.
Make some room later in the summer to just go crazy on ice cream.
We're going to do a whole ice cream segment. All right, thanks, Mark.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.